Society is built around morning people. Work starts early, school starts early, and every bit of productivity advice you're ever going to find says you can only win in the morning. But what if you don't function at 7 a.m.? What if you can't do 7 a.m.? You always probably assumed that the problem was you, but it's not you. It's an evolutionary mismatch. And the research says that this mismatch is doing real, measurable, actual damage. This is chronotypes. Which one are you? There's a reason some people wake up sharp at 6 a.m. every morning and some other people don't feel alive until 10 p.m. And it's not discipline because it's not habit, and it's definitely not how many alarms you're able to set. It's called your chronotype, and it's been studied since 1976. So in this video, what chronotypes actually are, information on what one you could be, and why society in general is punishing half the population. And if you're interested to know what chronotype you are, I definitely was. I left. It's a really quick test. It takes like 4 minutes. It's free. It's been around for years. I left the link in the description. Take it. It's interesting. Everybody knows the labels: early bird, night owl, morning person. You've been hearing them your whole life. In fact, you've probably had one assigned to you before you were old enough to understand what it meant, or be able to argue against it, or to question it. And we tend to treat them like personality traits, like preferences, as if it's a choice. Oh, he's a night owl. Oh, she's an early bird. As if it's a lifestyle choice. But it's not a choice. It's not a preference. It's biological. And there's a 48-year-old questionnaire that proves it. So the test itself, in 1976, researchers published a 19-question self-examination test designed to measure where a person sits on like the morningness-eveningness spectrum. It is a spectrum. It's called the MEQ, the Morningness-Eveningness Questionnaire, and it's been cited over 4,000 times since. So it's real. Now, the questions themselves are disarmingly simple. Things like, what time would you get up if you were entirely free to plan your own day? How alert do you feel during the first half an hour after you wake up? And at what time do you feel at your best or at your most productive? And your answers produce a score in between like 16 and 86. So below 41, your evening type, and above 59, your morning type, and then in between, your intermediate. And the original study showed that these studies don't just reflect what time you prefer to sleep or what time you prefer to wake up. They directly correlate even with things like your core body temperature rhythm. Morning types peak earlier in the day, and evening types, their core body temperature peaks later in the day. So what this proves very, very quickly is what we're talking about is not preference. It's physiology. It's hard coded into your system. This is John. John took the test and John scored 26. John has set alarms from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every morning for years. John has read the productivity books, and John has tried sleeping earlier, waking earlier, and morning routines, the cold showers and the 5 a.m. clubs. But John writes his best work at midnight. John's brain finally shuts up at about 2 a.m. But John has felt guilty about this for all of his adult life. But what John didn't know before, what most people don't know, is that sleep pattern. It's not like a failure of discipline. It's his chronotype doing exactly what it was always going to do. And the guilt he felt is not some profound self awareness. It's the result of living in a society that treats one chronotype as normal, the early bird, and the other chronotype as everyone else's problem to fix, or as a problem that needs to be fixed. And in 2006, a researcher gave that problem a name. Social jet lag is the chronic mismatch between when your body wants to actually sleep and what society or the world expects you or tells you to do. And it's not just an inconvenience. It's not just being a little bit tired on a Monday. Social jet lag is the mismatch between your biological clock and your social clock. And it directly relates to higher rates of depression, higher BMI, worse cardiovascular outcomes, worse physiological well being across the board. And it's not because being an evening person is unhealthy. It's because being an evening person in a morning person world is stressful, chronically stressful every single day. And the research found something striking, no pun intended, about social jet lag and smoking. Among people with less than 1 hour of social jet lag per day, so meaning that their social schedule syncs up with their biological schedule, around 15 to 20% are smokers. That percentage steadily climbs as the mismatch increases. And among the people with more than 5 hours of social jet lag, so this is where their natural biology is way off compared to what they act out every day. Over 60% were smokers. And what that means is there's a huge proportion of the population, the entire population, that are constantly reaching for stimulants because their biology is being overridden by their calendar. And this is happening every single day. So just think about what that actually means for a second. If you're an evening type and you want to go to sleep at 1 a.m. and wake up at 9 a.m., but your job starts at 8, so your alarm is set for 6:30, that means you spend every morning, every weekday of your working life fighting your own biology just to function normally. It means you're jet lagged permanently without ever flying or leaving a time zone. Like, just because this is proven, it doesn't really change much yet, because none of this means you can just go ahead and ignore your schedule. Do you know what I mean? Most people can't just go and redesign their work life around their chronotype. But knowing that your sleep schedule is biological rather than behavioral, it helps you do one thing. It helps you change the way you talk to yourself about it. So it helps you change the way you pose the situation to yourself. And it changes you from saying, what's wrong with me, to how can I work with what I've got? Or how can I make this work now that I understand what it is? So, there are a few things that the research actually supports to help manage social jet lag without you having to be in denial about your chronotype actually existing or you being in a specific band of people. Cool people. So, number one, daylight, light exposure, light therapy almost. So, even 15 minutes of natural sunlight early as possible in the morning, as early as possible in the morning, can help shift your circadian rhythm earlier, more naturally. And this isn't a hack, or it's not lying to yourself. It's just using the light system to calibrate your body the way it was meant to be calibrated. It's how the system was designed to calibrate itself. Daylight. Number two, consistency. Consistency matters more than waking up early. A regular sleep wake pattern is more beneficial to you than you could imagine, even if it's later than what the world typically thinks is normal. And it's much, much better for you than to force inconsistency by waking up early midweek and then crashing on the weekends. And then number three, the simplest one, is stop using the weekend to pay back sleep debt. So if you can look at it this way, the difference between your weekday sleep and your weekend sleep is literally how social jet lag is measured. And the bigger the gap, the bigger that gap, the worse the mismatch. An evolutionary mismatch is what we're talking about. And narrowing the gap, even by 1 hour, can significantly reduce chronic stress on your whole system. So this is your chronotype, and stop seeing it as a character flaw because it's not behavioral. It's a biological trait and it's been measurable since 1976. And it's as fixed as your height. So the guilt you feel about your sleep pattern, or the sense that you're doing it wrong, or that everybody else has it figured out, or that you'd be more productive if you could just wake up earlier. That guilt is a product of a system that was built around one type of person and kind of forgot that the rest of us exist. So the test is in the description. Take it. It takes 4 minutes, and whatever your score is, don't think of it like I'm not trying to diagnose you here. But it might be the first time that you've heard someone tell you that your sleep, or how you sleep, or when you sleep, is not something you need to fix. I took the test. I now know my chronotype and where I sit on this spectrum. And the biggest thing to change wasn't my sleep pattern. It's how I talked to myself and the guilt I felt about my sleep pattern. I still stay up late. I still don't bounce out of bed at 7 o'clock in the morning. My productive hours are still 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. But I stopped calling it a problem. And for some reason, some unknown reason, that knowledge made me feel better about myself. My name is John. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. This was fun. Rebel, do you want to make an appearance? Rebel, come here. Boyd.